Andy, can you talk about some of the partners that you have at Miles Franklin? And because certainly one of the things that I can understand for any shop that's sending valuable precious metals when they think, a little hesitant to go to a new partner, any sort of new deal, anything you could speak to, some of the folks that you've worked with who can verify and speak to the reputation and would let a shop be comfortable knowing that they're sending their metal to a place where they're going to get great service and they're going to be taken care of and dealt with fairly and properly.
In terms of buying scrap back, most of that comes from the public, so there's not a lot of verification there. But our relationship with the US Men, our relationship with folks like Rick Rule and Sprott USA, our relationship with newsletter writers in the industry like David Morgan and Daniel Amadura, our relationships and our reputation define who we are. And frankly, I feel that in this industry, reputation is everything. There is a lot of, for whatever reason, in this homogenous world we live in, people have a fixation on bottom line and price. As it pertains to what we're offering here, Chris, our price will be as good as anyone in America, but our reputation and our accreditation by the state of Minnesota trumps all else. In my opinion, anyone who has a substandard reputation but offers the best price, you should run from. You should, if you're going somewhere for something important, like a doctor or a dentist or an attorney, the first question you ask them is never, are you the cheapest? The question that's more appropriate is, are you the best? And so we would like to feel that we do things very professionally and have as good of a reputation as anyone in America. And at the same time, are very fair as it pertains to price. And in this case, we'll be very hard pressed to find anyone to better what we will offer as it pertains to buying back scrap and or precious metals.
Andy, in terms of the We Buy Gold shops and coin shops, jewelry shops that have metal, is there anything you could pass along that would be relevant to them that maybe they haven't heard from a refiner before that Miles Franklin can offer?
Well, I'm sure they've heard this, and I would assume that most of these shops have this type of machinery, but we have some very sophisticated machinery that allows us to detect what the composition is of what it is that we are receiving. And so I'll tell you that fraud is becoming far more sophisticated than I ever would have imagined. And that's one of the reasons I closed my online shop, Chris, for selling precious metals. Quite frankly, the fraud has become so pervasive and so frightening and so sophisticated that I think you have to, unfortunately, be somewhat skeptical of a lot of the things that you receive if you don't have this machinery. That's one of the issues. You have to be able to make sure that what you're receiving is indeed what it is you're paying for. So as it pertains to coins in particular and numismatic coins, there are a lot of things that we see coming out of the ether that shock us when we run it through the meters and find out it's an incredible looking, fraudulent, worthless item. So I guess that's the most important thing, is that we have a lot of sophisticated machinery, spent a lot of money to make sure that we're identifying what it is we're buying and providing detailed analysis down to the composite of what's inside the item that we receive, everything under camera. For the clients, so that they will know indeed that what they're receiving is what they're getting paid for, or what we're receiving is what we're paying them for, and vice versa. So I think that's the most important thing, just making sure that they're getting what they're paying for.